Welcome to Packmates, a podcast about Magic the Gathering Limited, where we take a deep dive into the current limited format. And the Packmates are a group of friends that love drafting, hanging out, and going to FNM to get that 3-0. I'm Andrew, the resident mid-range expert.
I'm Ryan, the resident aggro expert.
I'm Robi, the resident turtle expert.
And
we are the Packmates.
All right.
Still. One of these days, we're just gonna catch it perfect. It's gonna be great.
We're gonna get there one of these days.
Robi has a weird cadence to it.
Yeah.
He ruins it every time.
My BPM's just naturally higher than your guys'.
I'm like, we are the Packmates. Robi's like, we are the
Packmates. Mates Packs. What are we? And you can find our various social medias in the descriptions below. And you can follow us on our Discord as well. We're growing that. And so in this episode, we're going to do an FNM recap, analysis paralysis, just a tip, Q&As with the Packmates, and a pack one, pick one. And we're going to start it off with Robi doing his FNM recap. Take it away, Robi.
Why is that, Andrew? Why am I going first?
I think, this week, we had a very interesting format this week. Unfinity has just come out, and so we decided as a store to do Unfinity draft this week. So it would be only right that the person who takes his magic so very seriously would definitely win the FNM that week.
Yeah, I kind of just bodied everyone unintentionally, It's Unfinity. I'm just gonna be good at it, right? Like we could just scratch that off, right, guys? Yeah,
You should probably write a book, honestly.
Yeah, of like how to be good at bad things.
Like, this says attraction. I should draft it.
Yeah. So I ended up in the fucking contraption deck, like the most contraption deck.
Attraction.
Contraption.
Yep. I started off with a pack one, pick one black hole, which is the 4-mana black card that basically destroys a creature and X creatures, where X is the number of contraptions you visited. So I was like, oh, seems kind of good. So I just went hard into contraptions.
Can we take a time out? You keep saying contraptions.
Keep going.
What are they called? Attractions?
Attractions.
They're basically contraptions. Attractions. I was in the attraction deck. They've had contraptions and they worked like the exact same, right?
That's how good he was in the set.
Yeah,
I don't even know what my cards are.
The man
called.
can't even read.
like I don't even know what type of permanence I have, right? I opened a bunch of attractions. Yeah. In contraptions, whatever they're called. They basically do the same thing. And I just was blue-black with the obvious extremely, extremely greedy splashes of like one green-black card, for which I had one forest, and two white cards, which I had 2 plains, right? One for each card.
Yeah, that's not telling the whole story, though. You got treasures off your contraptions.
Yeah, and I had 12 contraptions. I actually cut one contraption after one attraction. One attraction.
I said
I cut the one attraction. I forget what it's called, but it had like some random person guess a word based on like the bottom card of your library, and if they guessed a word that was in the title of the card, then you would get that card in your hand. But everyone failed me.
Everybody failed you?
Every single person failed me, and so
I just failed you about 3 times.
Yeah, Andrew failed me at least twice. Yeah, that card was terrible, so I ended up cutting that from my contraption deck. Yeah, so I was very, very, very close to not having enough playables. Like, extremely close, but...
Is it because how many attractions did you draft in this draft?
14. 14, right?
Let's do some quick math here. All right, so there's 13 cards.
Actually. There's 15.
15 cards, 13 real cards we get. So 13 times 3, 39 cards in the pool.
Minus
Yeah.
15 is 24.
Yeah. So I think I had 14 contraptions, actually.
Okay.
Because I had 2 cards that I wasn't playing.
Yeah. Okay.
that was it. Like,
Are
there's only 2.
you just trying to make me mad that you beat me? Because
Like-
you're doing a great job.
I do recall when Robi was building his deck, he said, "Oh my gosh, I need a 41th card and I don't have anything I can play in here. Well, I guess I'm going to put this white card in for splashing." Literally threw in a blaze.
Yeah, I just threw a random white card in. Like, well, whatever. I played it too, right? Like, it actually kind of worked in my deck, weirdly. Like,
I still can't
41.
believe
41.
you sold
Always.
out and ran 40 just to beat me. I feel special.
No, I accidentally dropped one of my swamps on the ground. This is like a very common occurrence with me. Like, I will constantly like leave my shit everywhere. I'm just a hot mess when I'm drafting. Always. Like my sideboard is never with me. It's like across the store somewhere in like a random deck box. I'm just a very unorganized like person, you know? So like I just dropped a swamp on the ground and forgot about it for an entire game against Ryan. So I did have 40 cards, which was unintentional.
Put you over the edge.
No.
Nice trim
I
deck.
was down a land. If anything, that hurt me.
I think you drew plenty of land. I think you did fine.
I think you did all right.
Yeah, I didn't even get the land drops off your deck, right, Ryan?
Yeah, I know. I stole 2 lands from you too.
Yeah.
Didn't even matter.
Yeah, but basically the idea of my deck was just get contraptions going. So like almost everything has stuff to do with contraptions. I've got the what's it called? Deadbeat Attendant, the 1 in a black open an attraction for a 1/1 creature.
Mhm.
And then I had the Seasoned Buttoneer. Like a lot of my cards just were vanilla creatures that just said open an attraction. The Seasoned Buttoneer did that. I had Step Right Up, which was a 4-mana sorcery that opened 2 attractions. I had Line Cutter, which let me re-roll my attractions, and it was a 3/4. I had the 3-drop DK Finder of the Lost, which is 1 blue-black, and it does a million things that I'm not going to read because I can't see it in my deck list, but it opens an attraction.
What was the highest amount of attractions you had open?
11.
Oh my god.
11 in game 1. I got 11 game.
Oh, good.
Was it fun?
Yes, it was fun. It was fun for me. It was extremely tilting for everyone else. Like, there was just so much going on. Like, when I rolled this, if I ever rolled a 6, it just felt like I was cheating. Like, I was doing so much stuff. Like, I was making 1/1s, phasing out my opponent's creatures. It was just stupid, bouncing stuff back to their hand. Like,
Can I elaborate on the not fun for everyone else part just a little bit?
yeah, go for it.
I just want to say you went to time every round except the round you played me.
Yeah,
And
I got the clean win that round, right?
yeah, you did. Yeah, I we pushed the tempo those games, right? Like they were quick games. But that's not the only like going to time, sure, happens, right?
Yeah.
But you went to time and they call turns, and then it'd be like another 30 minutes from turns.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot of my opponents too, trying to like figure out what they were afraid of too, right? Because like if I roll a 6,
I don't know if it was your opponent.
it was a lot of that. There was definitely a lot of that going on too. Yeah.
If you had a chess clock, would you have had more time than your
I
opponent?
would prefer. So everyone thinks I play super slow. I would love to play with chess clocks.
Me too.
Me too.
Genuinely. I would absolutely love that. Genuinely. Like,
It
I
would
like
make
how
it-
Magic Online has that.
Arena
Yeah.
has it in
Arena has-
traditional.
Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
I would. Yeah.
It would make it better for like passing priority and stuff, I think, too.
Yeah. Just like knowing that's your turn. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
I
like,
like it.
move to combat, like move to combat, click it. Declare attacks, click it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I would prefer it genuinely.
yeah, it'd
We
be
should
dope.
start that.
Your deck was super dope.
Yeah, it looked really fun.
You think blue black was the best colors for the
Attraction?
attraction deck?
It seemed like it, but like I did have white cards that open to attractions. I think blue black is probably the best because you have like the best curve of attractions, right? Like so you can go two drop deadbeat, the deadbeat guy,
Yeah.
deadbeat attendant, into the buttoneer, or like one of the other. I had a couple. I had two 3-drop guys. I think green. I don't know. I didn't know well enough to really.
I
Like
didn't
I didn't
see
really look at
green ones
cards.
though, really.
No, I saw green having a lot of sticker cards. Like
Yeah,
more
green seemed like sticker, but like blue also had a bunch of sticker stuff too.
Yeah.
Anime objects seem busted. Was that
Yeah,
pretty busted?
that felt very broken when I played that.
So that's like 5 mana, get 7 tickets, and then make something that's not a card into like a creature.
Yeah, what creature did I make, Ryan?
I don't. You got it bounced to your hand, and you didn't even hold it the whole game. You
that
cheated.
was yeah, I didn't hold. I turned my deck box into a 3/3 that whenever a creature entered the battlefield, it turned into a 13/13 Eldrazi, which I beat someone with, mind you.
Nice.
Like, yeah, it only takes a couple swings to kill someone with that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you still went to time.
Yeah, yeah.
Anime object seemed really good. I was kind of
It
sad.
seemed really
I
strong.
passed it to you. I didn't realize that it was that good, honestly.
Yeah, I was surprised to see it. Like that was one of the cards that I knew before I went in that I wanted to play with. I'm glad I got to play with it. Disembowel was really cool. That was kind of like really crucial, low key. Like I won a game off Ryan just with Disembowel.
Yeah, I saw that. It was pretty good.
I think you're.
I was sitting there. I was sitting there
I think you had
counting the
lethal on
vowels.
this swing.
I had lethal. Yeah,
I think
forgot.
you had lethal on board.
I forgot about my anime object. That's one bad thing about it.
Yeah.
Because my deck box was just sitting in the middle of the battlefield and I forgot it was a creature. I was sitting there counting the vowels and Ryan's card names.
Yeah, he got me for 4 with it. Like kill something and deals damage for each unique vowel that the thing it kills has.
Which yeah, I found the one creature in Ryan's deck that had 4 different vowels.
No, I put a sticker on it that has.
Oh
3.
yeah, that's what did it. Yeah. That was tight.
You're like,
though.
oh, nice sticker, bro.
Yeah, it was,
You just rubbing it in. I'm sitting there like staring at lethal on the board. I'm like, when's he just gonna fucking swing?
I forgot. I just missed it. Right?
Like the equivalent of like a slow roll in poker. He's like, oh, disembowel, and then hit you for extra lethal.
Yeah, attractions seem pretty good.
Yeah, they did. Like all of your attractions, like I was like getting. I wouldn't say tilted because I don't think I was getting tilted, but like you were drawing like nuts attractions, and then like when I looked at your attractions deck, like they were all pretty, like not all of them, but like most of them were pretty good.
Yeah, probably the worst one I would say was either I don't know, they kind of all did work in some points.
Yeah,
like
they all
probably pick a Beeble is kind of bad.
The treasure.
That's the one that makes a treasure. But then it makes 3 treasures, which is kind of good.
Yeah.
And then the one that makes food, the concession stand.
Yeah,
the one that makes food
iffy.
tokens. It kept me in a game that I had no business being in, for sure. Like, yeah, I was rolling. Yeah, the best ones felt like the Ferris wheel, the one that phases things out. Like it has a bunch of text. Like if I roll a 3 or below, things phase back in. But that one was really good. Storybook Ride was really good. That's the one that exiles the top X cards of my library, where X is the number of attractions that I visited this turn. Which when that one popped off, I was just like, draw 5, basically. Like, that was real stupid. And that one hit more often than the other ones because I had 3 numbers that it hit on instead of 2. Most of them just had 2 numbers they would hit on. But Storybook Ride, and there was another one that had 3 numbers it hit on. And then the Centrifuge, the one that let you draw from your opponent's deck and they draw a card from your deck. That was real stupid.
And you make 3 treasures. Don't forget
I
about
always
that part.
forgot about that.
3
I didn't
treasures,
realize that
so
till
good.
the 3rd game.
You didn't even make the 3 treasures against other people?
Nope.
That's
still
so
bodied
That's the best part of the card.
Yeah. Well,
That was
It
the
kind-
first attraction you opened against me, and then you hit it the turn after you opened it. And so you're like at 3 mana with 3 treasures. It's like dope. Very
yeah.
dope.
It's stupid. Yeah.
It's like a Black Lotus.
That's what Ryan said when we played. He was like, that's basically Black Lotus. Like, yeah. It was good. It was good. It was fun. I probably want to draft and then Unfinity again, but
It was definitely fun though.
yeah, it's fun for the one.
All in all, on the patented Dragon Ball Z power scale,
From
do you think
0
you're
to 9,000?
Yeah.
Over 9,000?
yeah, where you at?
Probably 7,000. This was pretty powerful.
Do you think that that deck beats any Dominaria United deck that you've drafted this entire format?
Yeah, probably.
I do too. I do too.
Like, yeah, it does. Cause yeah, it really does. Cause like it's so swingy, right? Like it was really stupid. Like rolling, if you ever got a 6, it was just like GG's, right? Especially if you had like 4 to 5 attractions open, which isn't hard in this deck, right?
Yeah.
You're swamping people with value.
Maybe like a super aggro deck could have got you.
Yeah, people were getting me pretty low early. I would just stabilize out pretty easily.
Yeah.
Because there gets a point where once the machine gets a rolling,
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do, right?
Yeah, you definitely had inevitability on your side.
Oh yeah.
How was your deck, Brian?
My deck was mediocre. I went 2-1. I lost to Robi in the finals. It was like decent. I think I spread out and did kind of try to do too much stuff. Like I had a couple attractions, a couple ways to open them at like 3 attractions, and then I had a couple flyers, and then I did the ticket thing a little bit. I was in Esper, white, blue, black. But my biggest takeaway was just you're not gonna have fun when you're getting stomped anyway. So just go be the aggressive flyers deck and stomp everyone else. That would be fun.
That's not how you do it.
That's how you're supposed to do it, everyone.
No,
Just
absolutely.
ignore tickets, ignore attractions, and just keep flying.
Get vanilla 2-1 flyers. Yeah.
Or 1, yeah.
Yeah, that card is stupid.
That card was pretty dumb.
Yeah. So get your flyers, get your organ hoarders, which are wizards of the blank for 2 and double blue. Basically organ hoarder, and just fly over the top of them. I think, just focus your deck. I think you'll have a better time, honestly. And also bounces are kind of OP against a lot of decks.
Bounce spells.
Yeah, and this because the stickers. So when they go to target with the sticker, you can just fizzle it by bouncing.
Yeah.
Or when they animate their deck box.
Yeah.
That's a checkbox.
That is a thing that happened to me.
Yeah. And like he didn't. I tried to return it to his hand. He didn't hold it in his hand for the rest of the game. So I think he cheated, but I don't know.
Yeah. What was the other one? The other judge call was trapeze artist and whether or not it had a hat on.
It's definitely
Which nobody ever thinks
all of
it
its
does.
hair, all of its head is covered.
I'm glad the judge made the correct decision and said that trapeze artist
is
does
Glitter
not have
Flitter
a
wearing
hat.
a hat?
It's a one-piece bodysuit.
Is Glitter Flitter wearing a hat?
No.
What?
No?
Glitter flitter? No. Oh yeah, it is. It looked like a bug. It looked like just a bug.
Yeah, no, it's wearing a hat. What
That's a
about
hat.
Ballerina? Is that wearing a hat?
It's a helmet, right?
No, I don't know. That's like a globe over its head.
Yeah, it's like
helmet.
a breathing
Yeah,
apparatus.
it's a hat. It's
a
a
hat.
hat.
Really?
Helmet's a hat.
I feel like there should have
It's
been.
got a little antenna on it. That's what does it for me. The decorative antenna on ballerina.
I don't know. I feel like there needs to. I feel
Is
like
that a
we need
hat? Do you think that's a hat or no?
I think
I
it's a
feel
hat.
like we need a definitive list of things that are wearing a
Of the
hat.
things with hats.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, please, somebody out there.
The Wizards. Mark Rosewater.
Yeah.
It should be like a card type.
Hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hat wearer.
It
Yeah.
could be like a little icon in the name or something.
Yeah. Like a trademark sign, but
Yeah.
a hat. A little hat. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, if you want to argue with your friends about what is and isn't a hat, play Unfinity.
Yeah. You'll have a great time.
It was fun. It was for
It
sure
was
fun.
fun for the one time.
Yeah.
What was the stupidest card you had in your deck, Ryan? Like, did you have any ones where that involved other random people? from outside the game.
No.
Those were not fun.
The stupidest card I had in my deck was an attraction, and I cut it. And it was like, pick your opponent chooses a category.
Oh yeah, yes.
Creature, colorless card, or plane, and then they mill the top card of the library, and you have to think of a thing that has like starts with the same letter as the top card. And both these guys always pick planes, and I have no idea what the like. I'm so bad with Magic lore.
And I milled an island, and so I was like, fuck, I got an eye. Ryan for sure will get this. Ixalan and Innistrad, like, this is Ikoria. Like, this is so easy. This is so easy. And Ryan's just sitting there blanking. I'm like, oh no.
And you only get 10 seconds.
There.
You only get 10 seconds. The 10-second clock really puts some added pressure.
Yeah. It didn't seem like it.
Yeah, well, it never does when you're not the one under pressure.
Yeah.
Like, it never does.
Ryan from like 1 second was like, I don't know. And that was basically it.
I was like thinking, right? But like, I was like borderline, should I put this in my deck? And then I was like, if I do, I just hope no one picks plane. And like, everyone picks plane. And I'm like, sweet.
Dude, there would be some really hard ones. Like, I feel like there's some that you could hit that like wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
especially for plane.
Yeah.
Like creature card, like those would always be possible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that's a little bit easier to kind of think through.
But
yeah.
I don't know. It was the pressure of it, and it was just like I didn't like it. I was bad at it. I should have brought a list of planes instead of in front of me. Would have been way better.
You should have like wrote it on your hand with a pen.
I thought about like incepting people and like talking about my knowledge of planes before we came into the game, so they wouldn't choose planes. Like, dude, what plane do you think they're going to go to next? I hope they revisit such and such. Just to incept the idea that they...
that
that
you're more knowledgeable about
planes. But then I was like, nah, that's too much.
That's like a lot of effort.
Yeah. I was like, I probably would say some shit that doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, you probably out yourself low key. Like that's very much playing with fire.
Ryan, I just milled the card with the letter D. You got 10 seconds. Name of planes.
Dominaria. I can do that one because it's the set we're on right now.
I need to get me.
If you give me like 4 months and you ask me the same thing, I will not get it. I have a very limited memory storage space for like magic related things. It only pertains to the current set, and then I just dump it all. Do I want to put you guys on a 10-second timer?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do that. Let's do it.
Let me get a list of planes.
Give me one.
Let me get a list of planes real quick.
Okay. I don't know. I've been playing Magic like the least amount of time out of all of you guys.
You can both do it. How's that?
Okay.
A 10, 9,
Alaria.
8. Oh, yep, you got it.
Shards of Alara? Yeah.
Well, Alaria would not.
Alaria.
It's actually just Alara. So
Alara. Okay.
fail.
Fail.
Give one to Andrew and then give one to me, so that way I can do it. Yeah.
Okay, this one's for you, Robi. Are you ready?
Yeah.
R 10, 9.
Ravnica, easy.
Oh, got it.
That was a good one.
Got it. Let's see.
This one's for Andrew. Give one to Andrew.
Okay, Andrew in 10, 9, 8, 7.
Nick stuff.
5.
New Phyrexia.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where I was gonna go. Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. Ooh, man, N was tough.
K.
Kaladesh, Kamigawa.
Kaltheim.
I don't even think those are actually playing.
Our favorite Kamigawa.
Yeah.
Kamigawa, yeah.
Ooh, man. Kamigawa is good.
Space Japan.
Space. Yeah. Who doesn't love Space Japan?
Yeah, I'm just
it's easy
than you guys.
It's easy. Yeah, get good, Ryan. That's the moral of this story.
There you
go.
Oh man.
Antiquities.
No, that's A.
I know, I'm kidding. I don't know one with the off the top of my head. Yeah, that's one.
Let's see if you can get this one that I didn't get. L. That was one that I got. That.
Oh, I got this one. Go, Robi.
Yeah, Robi.
Lorwyn.
Yep, you got it. Yeah. E was Eldraine, by the way.
Eldraine.
Eldraine.
Yeah, that one's hard because it's Throne of Eldraine, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Drain's pretty good. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's enough of that stupid game.
Yeah. Cool.
Honestly, thinking back, like you guys could have said creatures. You probably could have said colorless cards. It didn't matter. I probably wasn't getting it most of the time.
Colorless cards probably would have got you too, I bet.
I think
Yeah.
creatures probably would have you would have got those, right?
I don't know.
Would've got
Maybe. Like my name of card knowledge outside of the set that we're in is pretty.
You just forget them all?
Yeah,
After
I just
every
dump
set?
them, bro. What about your deck, Andrew?
All right. Well, I had a 1 and 2 this week. I didn't drop when I was 0-2. I kept going, and then I ended up getting that really hard fought win in round 3 against Bye.
Hell yeah. Everyone give Andrew a round of applause. He's growing as a person.
Yep. Good job. Good job.
It's great. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to see.
Promise of dinner
Personal
afterwards.
growth.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was the dinner.
It was the dinner else I probably would have left.
Personal growth.
I thought for a second, how hilarious would it be if Andrew stuck around for that buy and then we canceled the dinner?
Oh my god.
That would have been so funny. I would have felt bad.
Oh man. Yeah. I had a lot of fun, just like actually had more fun not during the event, but actually prepping for the event. Looking at some of the spoilers. I didn't really look at honestly all the cards. I just kind of looked at all the fun stuff that, the cards make you do. Like, this hat gives you triple strike if you and your creature are wearing a hat. So it's like, cool. I need to bring a hat with me. And so it was kind of fun.
You have a hat with you?
I did. I put it in my backpack. So I saw this list online. And so shout out to Magic, was it MTG Rocks, I think is what it is. And this guy really made this really wonderful list of just like, here are the things you need to bring. And so I was like, I got him. And so I brought a hat. I brought a shirt that had
a Magic shirt. Yeah, that's why you were wearing a Magic shirt underneath your normal shirt. Man, that's tight.
Just in case the card popped up, I was there. I had some packs of Dominar United in my backpack just in case I opened like opening ceremony, which I did play because I was not in red at the time. It was unfortunate. I should have played it just because it was just, how many times am I going to get to play that card? There were some other fun ones like bringing a pencil and paper, came up pretty big too. There was a couple drawing cards out there. The stacks of dice, I should have prepared for that a little bit more. I have these like 10-sided dice that don't really stack very well.
Your D8s or whatever. Yeah. I saw you over there trying to stack your D8s.
It was bad.
I had casino dice.
Yours were the best to stack for sure.
That was pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
You should have brought a cup or something to swirl them in to just because it would have stacked them immediately, right?
Right, yeah. You could have just slammed them and been like,
yeah.
I get 10-1-1s.
And so, like, I even brought a measuring tape. That's why I was like, if Ryan wasn't going to flip that card a foot ahead, I was going to pull out a measuring tape and really just like rules learn. Like, I'm sorry, sir, that is not a foot above the line there. Yeah, I brought some snacks. There was a card where if you're snacking on a card, you get to add another +1/+1 to the creatures or target.
Gobble mechanic.
The gobble mechanic. I was ready. I had my chips. And so it was honestly just a lot of fun, just like in the preparation. I just, the night before I was really getting excited about it. And then of course, when the draft came around, I totally forgot about all this stuff and just was like, ooh, shiny. Like, ooh, this makes a ticket. That's kind of fun. Oh, this makes an attraction. That's kind of cool. And so I kind of cobbled together some deck and just disregarded all the prep that I did before.
Did you actually have enough mirrors to see everything in the room?
I had 2 mirrors in my backpack.
Oh man, that's so tight. Man, I did not realize how prepared Andrew was.
I really came prepared. I was strategic. The fun part too is like strategically placing yourself in the room to see certain items. Like there was a card I had that brought back 2 creatures and it made food tokens equal to the amount of trash cans you could see. And so I put myself in a way to see 8 trash cans.
Oh wow.
That's
Dang,
hilarious.
I'm glad Andrew didn't get to completely go off on us.
It would have
That's
been
scary.
fun, like have a hat on a hat, get my smartphone out. I mean, it would have been a lot of fun. There was a couple of things I was able to do, but I didn't really get to that point where I really should have just drafted for it and just set for the maximum, like
Maximum preparation.
Yeah, like maximum doomsday prepper. Finally, you know,
Got your bunker ready and
I
everything.
was bunkered down, ready to go with my magic clothing, my hat, my measuring tape, my snacks.
Your
I
mirrors.
I think you can make it as a side hustle as Carrot Top.
With all these little preps. That's tight.
Oh,
Yeah, because
God.
I had no idea you had a bag full of this stuff, and
I didn't either. Like
Each other.
he showed us the t-shirt because I made a comment afterwards about how I've never seen Andrew wear a t-shirt, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm wearing a Magic t-shirt today." I just didn't put two and two together that he was so prepared.
I was trying to get the edges, boys.
That's fire. Yeah.
And then I O2 get a buy. So, best laid plans, people. Best laid plans.
I looked at the cards the least, right? And just happened to get there.
I don't know. I didn't look at very many of them, but I might have known more
looked
than
at the
you.
list and didn't look at any cards, so I didn't know any of the synergies or anything. I just knew I had to bring a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I pulled up in one draft sim of this set. Like,
Then you
looked
looked
at
at
the
more
cards,
than me for sure.
and then I looked at like the first card, the rare, and it had a bunch of text. I was like, I'm not gonna do this, and just closed it immediately, and just gave up immediately. I was like, this is not fun. I'll just do it in person. It'll be fun.
It was definitely one of those sets where I'm happy to have done it once, but I don't think I could do it again.
So overall, as a podcast, do we recommend people play Infinity?
I think once is fine. I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think everyone should play it once. It's
Yeah,
fun.
I would buy a box and play it again in like a year or something. It'd be fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
I think we all kind of said this before, but it was kind of a good palate cleanser, honestly, for how hard we were going in Dominar United.
Yeah, we were grinding pretty hard, right?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it was nice to play something different. It's
Yeah,
fun.
nice little bye week.
Yeah.
Yeah, 17lands deep dive time.
Okay.
Cool. You ready for it?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Craig.
Okay. So I just was kind of interested in looking at numbers from the last 2 weeks compared to all time. And I didn't do a whole lot of what does this mean prep work. I just kind of want to give you some numbers and then we can talk about maybe what we think it means. First thing I want to know is the top 6 commons from the all-time data are the same as the top 6 commons from the last 2 weeks. So the improvement when drawn. And that's Shield Wall Sentinel, the Defender Tutor, Extinguished Light, the black kill card for 4, Therian Geyser, Bounce and Draw, Urborg Repossession, black kick with green, get 1 or 2 cards from your graveyard and gain 2 life, Essence Scatter, counter target creature spell, and then I guess that's where it starts to change a little bit. Then Tribute to Urborg and Phyrexian Espionage are the 2 that are. It's like all those cards like the same on both lists. Like they're in different positions, but they're still the top 7 cards. Tribute to Urborg is -2/-2. Espionage is divination with upside, right? So the order for the top 3 are the same: Shield Wall, Extinguished, Tolarian Geyser, and Urborg Repossession. Those are still the top 4, and this is improvement when drawn ordering. Phyrexian Espionage jumps up 2 cards to be the 5th in the last 2 weeks. Essence Scatter goes down, and Tribute to Urborg has the same improvement when drawn. But the crazy thing is the next card on the list for the all-time data is Destroy Evil. It did not make the list on this one. I think people are just jamming them in everything now, and I don't know if that's correct. I think they're just playing Destroy Evils no matter what, just because I think it's like super good. And I mean, it is good. Like it's still good, but I don't think it has to go in every single deck that you ever draft. Aggressive Sabotage was the next card on the list, and now it's down. It's not like down, like the improvement when drawn is the same, but there's cards better than it now. So I kind of want to note that like the bottom of the list of improvement when drawn, a lot of these
have
cards
enough data to really.
it's only 2 weeks of data, but like it's like the data is like, I don't know how I want to say this. The commons are stronger in general now than they were over the whole course of the set because people are using them correctly now.
Yeah.
It's like Tolarian Geyser's improvement when drawn is higher than what in the last 2 weeks than it is for all time because it's being utilized better. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I can't believe that jump from Shield Wall Sentinel too, though. Look at that. That's like a 0.4% or 0.4 up rate. Man, that guy is really soaring.
Yeah, Shield Wall Sentinel's just as good as it's ever been. Extinguish the Light is actually slightly worse, but like not enough to really make a big difference. Slaying Geyser's better. I do want it to be noted Gaia's Might is on this list. It jumped past a lot of stuff. It's at a 2.7 right now, and it was a 2.4. It passed Shore Up, Aggressive Sabotage, and Destroy Evil from the last list. Maria's Outrider has shot up. Impulse is up a little bit, but the big thing that I'm noticing is this Negate. So Negate is, what is that, like the 10th or 11th highest improvement when drawn common right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a little bit contentious, but I do think Negate is good.
Yeah,
Basically,
sure.
if you look at the all-time data, Shore Up was on the list, and Negate replaced Shore Up, I feel like. What are your thoughts on that, fellas?
A world where Negate is better than Phyrexian Rager is an alternate reality that doesn't exist. like this data, that makes me trust none of it. Like as like far as like whether or not you would ever take a Negate over a Phyrexian Rager, which is where I think like the data like shines, is like to tell us which cards are better and which cards we need to be taking more. Like I don't think that we need to be taking Negates higher at all, ever.
I don't know.
Like it's not splashable. Like
I feel like that's kind of like a misconception. It doesn't necessarily tell you what you need to take. It just tells you
in the decks, right? That's how
what cards you should play. Yeah. I mean, like I guess you have to take it to play it, but like you know that Negate is gonna table more than Rager. Like you know going into a draft, if you want a copy of Negate, you're gonna get a copy of Negate, right?
Yeah.
And like I guess you can say the same for Rager, but like you have to prioritize Rager much higher than you do a Negate.
Yeah, but what about like a Destroy Evil over a Negate? Would you ever take a Negate over a Destroy Evil?
Now I'm looking at this data. Yeah, I'll try it for sure.
I think I would too. I think it's telling me too, like when you see Negate that high on improvement when drawn, is just saying how powerful the spells are. The spells, the non-creature spells in this format are.
So this is my theory, okay? I think white is overdrafted, which is making its win rate worse, which is why there are no white cards other than Tolarian Geyser in this little list right here. That's my theory.
If you'll look at Exhibit B, you'll see that white still has the highest win rates, but
I think it's overdrafted.
Yeah, but it still has the highest win rates, though.
Does it have the highest played rates, though?
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Rates. Is like people are playing it way more,
and they're winning more with it. So
but that also means that people are losing more if they're trying to play it. If it has more play,
like statistically, they're actually losing less because that's why the win rate's higher.
You don't think that could be skewed between the people that play it and super win with it and the people who are taking the scraps and aren't doing as good with it?
No,
like it's an average, right?
It's an average, but like white's being like white decks. Boros,
it's Orzhov, the most played color, right?
Yeah, and Azorius, but they're the highest win rates too. Like it's the reason it's the most played color is because it's like the strongest color.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But like I don't know.
It's like all these other cards, people are piloting worse. Like all the other colors, people are piloting worse, right?
So like then how come there's no white commons in the top improvement and drawn? If it's the best color, then why are there none of them represented in the top?
Because you don't need commons in white. I mean, there's only one common in the other list. It's Destroy Evil.
Like, oh man, this seems so sus to me. So you're telling me white's the best color, but none of the commons are
all of
playable?
The white commons are like solid, but none of them are key.
So you can have a white deck, the best color. I don't know.
Because all of the commons are good.
Unbelievably questionable to me.
Okay, first off, let's get this out of the way real quick. Wingmantle Chaplain has warped the format, right?
Yeah, but
and Wingmantle Chaplain's white. So the best white common is Shield Wall Sentinel, which is the best common.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why white's.
That's that's not really a like you can kind of just jam that in any deck, right? With like you're jamming Wingmantle Chaplain in basically every deck, right?
Sure, but like the best white common is Shotel Sentinel, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the card you want in your white deck because you want Wingmantle Chaplain, and because since Wingmantle Chaplin's an uncommon, it warps the
But
format for all these white decks.
Is that the only white deck though? No.
No, but it warps like all the win rates for all the white decks. That's why all the white decks win rates are higher, right?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
I mean, maybe not. Like maybe I'm wrong, but like that's how I feel.
I don't think every white deck is a Wingmantle Chaplain deck though.
Every white deck that sees a Wingmantle Chaplain is, but yeah. I mean, obviously you're not going to get one every draft, but so in that sense, Showdwall Sentinel is the best white common because you want to be in white because you want a chance at Wingmantle Chaplain.
Yeah, I guess. Like that's the only real reason to play it, right?
Showdwall Sentinel?
Yeah. I don't think it's worth it just to jam them anymore. I've kind of gone down on that.
I mean, its win rate's just going up and up. Like I think it's definitely worth it to jam them.
But do you think its win rates like just taking into account like decks with the Chaplain?
No. No, there's not that many chaplains, honestly. But I just think, like, I mean, the Coral Colony's legit for sure, and the Walking
that is it's like the janky bad way to win, right?
Yeah, I did a quick draft where I just tried to win with Coral Colonies, and I got like 5 wins. It was pretty good.
Yeah. If I don't know.
Urborg Repossession, I would have got more probably, but
this data just makes me trust improvement when drawn way less. I trust it way less.
That's fine.
Destroy Evil's not on here. Our Giving Cavalier's not on here. Fucking any like, and then there's like Negate and Voda Sea Scavenger. Get out of here.
Voda Sea Scavenger is not the worst card ever.
The Librarian is better.
Okay, I actually like. No, it's not. No, it's not. First off, and then second off, I want you to think about this. When you're playing this set, like as you're playing games of this set, how many times do you lose because you think, oh, he just has a better deck than me? Like I just have a worse deck.
Occasionally.
Not very often though, right? Like
No,
this set's more about sequencing and like playing your stuff on time and not stalling out. Like consistently doing things is how you're gonna win games in this set. It's not one card's gonna beat you. It's not their deck's better or my deck's better. It's they drew a better hand this game and like I drew a better hand that game. And like even the people that are like quote good at Magic don't have like the highest win rates in the set because there's high variance in the set.
Yeah.
Based off sequencing. Like some sets, you know, your deck's better, you're gonna beat them. Period. This set's not quite that way. Like obviously, if you have a better deck, you're gonna beat most people. But if you stall out, if you don't do stuff, you're gonna lose. So Voda Sea Scavenger helps you set up that next turn. Same with Shieldwall Sentinel. Like that's why they're good, is they help you set up and plan and efficiently do things. Like it doesn't really matter. Like in this set, it feels like it doesn't really matter what you're doing as long as you're doing stuff. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, if you find my negates.
Yeah, and then if you get negated on a key play, like you just lose, right? Like,
I've been playing negates, right? Like I've been playing negates before that, but like before I saw this data, like kind of as like a replacement shore up occasionally, like in blue control-y decks where you have like a couple high value creatures that you just don't want to die. Like
negates just shore up's big brother. It just does everything shore up does and better, but it costs one more.
Yeah,
but it's
shore up's better. Shore up is better.
No, it's not.
Well, like I would say shore up is better because it costs 1 mana and it's also possible to hit it off your micromancers. Like
no, I'm negate.
Okay, take all the negates, Ryan. Please play all the negates.
I've definitely found it easier to side in negates in this format than any other format that I've been in for a while, where it's like, yeah, it's pretty right. Like most of the cards you're losing to are like the rogue, like Gaia's Might that killed you, or something that really like targeted a creature, or something just really over.
I also disagree with that because like
how often often do you trade off your dudes because you know you're just gonna get them back later with Urborg Repossession?
Oh.
And then if I negate that, you just lose because that's your whole turn planned out. Like you're like, this turn I'm gonna Urborg Repossession and play this, and like when that gets countered, you just lose the game. The game's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Phyrexian Espionage is up there too. Like counter Phyrexian Espionage, and because you kept a shaky hand, but it had Phyrexian Espionage in it. Like I don't like. There's so much good
only
stuff
up
you
there
can
because nobody played it. Nobody plays it, right?
No, negate's up there because it counters. It's literally up there because it counters Urborg Repossession, I think.
Yeah, but you also just would infinite.
And Geyser.
Like, would you ever consider that your opponent has a negate in hand?
Yeah,
before seeing this data?
Yeah, I've got negated a few times for sure. and it's hurt.
Yeah,
It
but
hurt.
you always take that into consideration.
Like the first time it happened, I was like kind of shocked, and then like now I'm just like, yeah, like playing the gates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just good. Like if you look at this list of top commons, right? And I don't care which side you look at. What does negate counter? Extinguish Light, that's 1. Flaring Geyser, 2. Urborg Repossession, 3. Phyrexian Espionage, 4. Essence Scatter, 5. Tribute to Urborg, 6. Gaia's Might, 7. Impulse, Aggressive Sabotage, 9 cards out of this list of like 15.
Yep.
That's a lot. That's a lot of top commons. I don't know if you know 9 out of 15, but that's a lot.
I've had decks that have gotten 7 wins that have 0 of these cards in it.
Yeah, like anyone can jam a
like,
herd migration. Like that's not hard to do.
No, like even like like there's all sorts of stuff like Arcavian. None of the like Terror, the Phalanx, any of those guys are on here. Like I just don't think this is a very like useful list. Because like if you just had a deck full of these cards, you'd fucking lose every single game, right?
You think so?
Yes. There's like 2 creatures on here. 2 creatures.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is telling you to play like 20 copies of all these cards.
Yeah, but like I think it's like kind of I don't know.
Like if I had a deck full of the first like top 5 cards, and that was my entire deck. I mean, I guess I'd only have Shield Wall Signals. I wouldn't have a legit way to win.
Yeah,
but
this would be terrible
my deck would be pretty scary. Like Extinguish the Lights and Geysers and Espionages and stuff. Like
and you would really make games last a long time.
Yeah,
like never win.
Even
right?
You was not a win con in there, but
yeah,
I mean,
like
yeah, I think with the Marius Outrider, like that's a legit deck right there. Like with the
Marius Outrider is a real card.
Yeah, like I think you could get away with having a deck of all removal and just a bunch of Marius Outriders with Urborg Repossessions. You don't even have to hit them.
Yeah. I don't trust this list. I hate this list.
You know, that's fine. I don't think there's a single card on here that's like a card. I mean, you might argue like Voda Sea Scavenger, you might not put in your deck, but like I think if you have 3 or 4 domain, I think it's fine to put it in your deck. I don't think like you're jamming it just because the stats are up here, but like maybe you should. Honestly, maybe you should. I don't know. I think it does make you more consistent, which is going to win you more games. I mean, it's like Impulse on the stick, right? Kind of.
Yeah.
Not really. It's like an
better.
automatic librarian that costs blue mana.
And scries for 4 or 5 instead of 2.
Occasionally. When it's
good.
At
least 3. At least 3. Right?
Robi, how many times have you been 2 colors in this set?
Probably
0.
never.
I've done it. I've been 2 colors before. I think I'm the only one of us 3 that have been 2 colors.
I think
I've always splashed every single. Yeah.
Andrew can't. 2 colors on my first draft, which was a black-white deck.
On Arena, I think I've done it once. I was a Boros deck one time. Nope, because I still had black mana in there for the Angel.
Yeah. And then, so if we look at this data too on the win rates of colors, Orzhov and Boros are still the highest, but they have gone down a little bit. So like Boros was 61.1 and it's now 60.3. Orzhov is 59 and it was now over the last 2 weeks, and then it was over all time 59.4. Like people are just winning less in this format. Like almost all of the 2 color decks have gone down in percentages. If not all of them. Oh, I guess Gruul is gone. No, Gruul's gone down. Like, literally all of them have gone down some amount of percentages, which speaks to like, I think kind of what I was talking about earlier. It's not about the quality of your deck as much as it is the quality of the first 10 cards you draw.
Yeah, which is why I can go 2-1 with a bad deck full of 2-drops, right?
Yeah. Like we also have 2 color and a splash. And all but 2 of those win percentages have gone down. So the only ones that have went up is Simic and a splash, and Orzhov with the splash is maintained its win rate. So with splash decks, it's still white though. It's actually Gruul takes.
I have noticed
Gruul and a splash is the best with the splash.
This has been like the worst data set I've ever seen as far as it's so hard to gauge how good 2 color decks are just based on like the limited amount of data that we have, right? Like Simic only has 300 games played, right?
Yeah.
in the last 2 weeks.
Well, the with a splash is better because almost
Yeah.
every 2-color deck is splashing. Like that's kind of what we were getting to a minute ago, and that's why I put that on there. But like the with a splash is Gruul and a splash is the best, followed by Boros and a splash, and Orzhov with a
The Gruul
splash.
domain. Yep.
Yeah,
It's interesting to see the white, just white in your deck just improves your deck.
yeah.
Like,
I mean,
how high the win percentage is on white decks versus the other ones. Like Selesnya is the only one that really dips below the kind of threshold.
That's what's sus to me, right?
It
Because
does.
there's a lot of good white cards, right?
There are, but I think it's just interesting to say that, you're better off just drafting white X, like X something.
yeah, but like all the white card. Well, one like Wingmantle Chaplain does skew all the white data for sure, for sure. Like it adds a point, maybe
What
not a
about
whole point, but
Boros?
like some. Yeah,
Are people playing Wingmantle Chaplain in their Boros decks?
with their
Like,
heroic charges,
I've
absolutely.
done it. I've done it. Yeah.
Yeah,
In the Clockwork Bridge or whatever. Yeah.
yeah. Why wouldn't you?
But
I mean, if you
yeah,
have a Wingmantle Chaplain, you're just gonna play it, right? Like doesn't
I've
matter what
had
colors
some
you're in.
games where it just didn't make sense. But
And you had one, and you just said nah.
yeah.
I don't know. Screenshots or it didn't happen. I guess.
I had an FNM where I took one and I got like 2 other walls.
I think that's fine now. I think if you had that same today, you would play it,
Maybe.
right?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I'll trust. I don't know. Weird to me.
Someone moved my data.
Did I do it?
Yeah. But yeah. So
It was funny.
I just think it's just interesting. Win rates are going down. The formats, the games are a lot closer. There's a few cards that can really run away with the game, but they're all almost answerable. Besides like Wingmantle Chaplain, honestly.
Yeah,
I'd like to see the win percentage of 5-color decks now. I wonder if more playing it a little bit more in the last 2 weeks, or maybe that's getting solved there.
Yeah, we could do that next week. We can look.
Yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool to look at that.
We can look at the 3-color, 4-color, and domain piles next week.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. All right.
Maybe the uncommons with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just interesting stuff. Gaia's Might's better. Impulse is better. Negate's better. Maze Outrider's better. Shore Up's worse.
Should we still be playing Destroy Evil?
Yeah. But okay, so I think the problem is like people treat Destroy Evil as if it is Wingmantle Chaplain. Like, oh, I have a Destroy Evil and I should play it. Like, no matter what. I think that's wrong.
Yes, I think it's more right than it is wrong, though.
Like, you think you should just jam white to play a Destroy Evil in any deck?
Like, no.
I mean it's definitely splashable.
Like,
for
if you're playing white and you have a Destroy Evil, you should probably just put it in.
Like,
oh yeah,
more than you should not.
Destroy Evil.
If you have access to white mana and you have Destroy Evil, you should probably just play it.
Would you go out of your way to splash for Destroy Evil?
Like, probably not.
Yeah, okay.
Would you go out of?
I think people are doing that, though. I think people are doing that.
Yeah,
I think that's why his win rate when John is gone is low.
You should already be able to play it, I think, before you ever get them. Like, you should be taking the lands. If you're gonna be like a domain deck or anything like that, you should have Destroy Evils for sure.
I don't know, man. Like, I mean, if you're gonna be a domain deck, sure, but like, I think there's something to be said about the consistency of these 2-color decks that we're seeing too, just Boros and Orzhov, and how they have the highest win rates of all the 2-color or the 2-color plus splash decks. And I do think, honestly, I think 2-color plus splash are a big majority of the decks. There might be 3-color and splash and 4-color, but we'll see that next week. But I think 2-color and splash is the majority of decks, right?
Yeah.
And so for a deck like a Boros aggro deck to have like 2% higher win rate than any 2-color splash deck tells me you should be playing Boros more often than not. If it's there, obviously don't force it. But if it's there,
it seems like nothing's really forcible in this set. This is like the least forcible set.
Yeah, like it just feels like
Brian said a couple weeks back that this set's just too balanced and fair, and I kind of agree with that.
It is.
It kind of like takes some of the fun out of it.
Yeah, it's like I don't get a reward for like drafting a better deck than people. I feel like not as much of a reward as I normally would. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, cause like all the cards are just good enough. All right. Destroy Evil. You think you should put it in every deck, Robi?
That is a question, Ron. That is a question.
Right,
yeah, you should.
have it.
But This week on my tip, I want to talk about removal. And specifically, I just want to talk about the common removal spells in like a more contextual way. Like not whether or not they're good or not, just kind of like when maybe you would want them and kind of like where they're useful.
But
And
it's removal. Don't I always want it?
no. See, that's one of like the old magic people kind of mentalities that like I've run up against, like because I'm a fairly new player. Like I haven't been playing that long, just like 3 or 4 years. And one of the first things that new players learn is bread. Right, like the bombs are removal, evasion, aggro, and whatever the D stands for. Dirt.
Duds.
Dredge.
I don't
Dread.
know.
Yeah, like just yeah.
I think
And
E is evasion and efficiency,
it,
but yeah.
yeah, I have always heard evasion, and yeah, I think that's kind of outdated. And I think like we need to kind of take like a new look at like how we view removal and like when you need it, kind of like how efficient the removal is. Cause like one of the things that I see a lot of like, it's never like the brand new players. It's like the players who have played a couple times and they're trying to learn from some of the older players. They get this idea that you just need to have a ton of removal. You just need to have like 8 to 9 pieces of random removal. Whether or not that goes with your game plan or not, you just need all the removal. And I think that can be wrong in a lot of circumstances. And a lot of times you kind of need to think about what removal you actually need in your deck. Like what threats your creatures can't handle and kind of like whether or not you need what I call like big or small removal, which is kind of a concept I've heard people talk about before, where like the smaller your creatures, the bigger the removal you need. Because like your small creatures can't deal with like big creatures. So you need removal spells that can deal with big creatures, or like vice versa. Like if you've got a bunch of big creatures, you're more worried about early game and you'll want more efficient removal that deals with littler creatures. So that way you can get to your big creatures and then their little creatures will never get through. So I made a chart about like, and I took all the common removal and I put it on this chart of like, how like what it deals with, kind of like the power of it, like what all it can deal with, and then compared to like the efficiency. And like obviously the most efficient removal is probably like the red removal, but it also deals with the least amount of things. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like I could read every card on this little chart, but yeah, I think like in the red decks you kind of want the bigger removal, which is kind of like why I think like some of these red removal spells are kind of a trap. Like lightning strike doesn't deal with like what your red decks are really afraid of, which is like a 5/5, you know.
Lightning strike can go face.
Yeah, that's true. That is true, right? But like I think destroy evil a lot of times ends up playing better than lightning strike and like Boros aggro.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think they both have their role. Like, I think the whole Boros aggro archetype is like flood the board and then swing, and then if they play one answer and you can get either way. Like, if you can kill with
Just
lightning
get
strike,
around
great, or if you can kill with destroy evil, great. But like, I think as long as you can kill it, then you're just gonna win, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm cutting either one of those. Like if I have a choice there, or if I had like five
This
and
is
five,
this is what I'm talking about.
yeah,
All right,
like,
why not? Why not, Andrew?
like even if I had 5 and 5, I think they do enough things at an efficient level. You know, like you have an eye on your efficiency there, and efficiency
Destroy evil, and are we talking about destroy evil and lightning strike, or just lightning strike?
destroy evil and lightning strike
So
together.
you play 10.
You play 10 removal spells there?
You play 10 combined destroy evil and lightning strikes in the Boros deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Honestly, if I had 10,
This is a perfect example. Thank you, Andrew.
now if you could have 10 destroy evils or 10 lightning strikes, which would we have?
Lightning strikes.
Lightning strikes.
Like neither. like you want to have creatures. You want to affect the board
I'd play 10
in other
lightning
ways.
strikes for
10
sure.
lightning strikes, man.
Face?
10 lightning strikes, obviously, right?
Okay.
But like,
yeah.
so you, what I'm getting from you guys is just jam all the removal.
No. Just jam the lightning strike specifically.
I don't think I could jam 10 destroy evils to a deck. I don't think I
Yeah,
could.
you know, like that's not good for your deck.
Right.
No.
Like, yeah.
No, I'm with you. Okay, so Like I'm with
Yeah,
you.
you're
I wouldn't play
derailing this.
5 Destroy Evils. I'm just saying Lightning Strike's different. That's all I'm saying because it can go fake.
Okay, I'm
It's
just talking about
mobile.
single target removal using cards to trade for another card.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about going face with
I
lightning.
know. I'm just
That's
saying.
like super.
So the
not-
way I like to paint this picture that you're getting at, if I may,
Yeah, go for
is
it.
I like to take like extreme cases and consider it in a vacuum, right? So like for example, if I had all Mossbeard Ancient 7/7 tramples, 7/7 tramples where I gain 5 life, would I need Destroy Evils? If
No,
my deck was just full of
right.
those. No,
That's how.
never.
Yeah, that's exactly
Right?
what I'm too. Yeah.
But would I need some cards to get me to 7? Yes. Like I would need Artillery Blast or Lightning Strikes or Flow Stones or
Or
Tributes, right?
tribute. Yep.
Yeah.
Even Citizens Arrest, right?
Yeah, sure. For sure. But once I started playing out my 7/7s, like I would win. I wouldn't, it doesn't matter what you have. I'm going to get there. If I had all 1/1s for 1, then what do I need?
Destroy Evils, right? You need
Right. Yeah.
You need like tributes of Urborg. You need tribute of Urborg's like right in the middle where it can be big removal, but is also small removal at the same time.
Yeah.
It's
So if I had 21/1s for 1 in my deck, like my other 3 cards would be like Destroy Evils and
like
Citizens
Bone
Arrest.
Splitters, right?
Bone Splitters. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And that would
yeah.
be pretty decent. I mean, it wouldn't be like a great deck, but like it would be decent.
Yeah, and so like most of the time your decks end up like somewhere in the middle of like where you would want like a spread of like Destroy Evils and Lightning Strikes. And like it's kind of important to like recognize where your deck's at and like what removal is the best for your deck, as opposed to just like jamming all removal ever.
Like you only jam all removal ever in like
If you're
the
like a hard,
Tolarian Terror deck.
yeah, like you have other reasons other than just trading a card for another card, right?
Yeah, like you have Rafts or you have Tolarian Terrors or you have the Saga that gets it back or like
Yeah, like other stuff other than the like basic. I'm just thinking of this in the basic like of trading a card for a card.
yeah, because ultimately if your deck is full, let's say your deck has only Extinguish the Lights, you'll never win a game because like you're like there's so much creatures that do more than just be a creature, right?
Yep.
So like even if like they only had 4 drops and you only had Extinguish the Lights, like you would lose because
4
if they
drops.
made 1 token, then you lose.
Yeah, like cards do stuff now, right? Like
Right. So I think that R and E in the bread level is like on the same tier. Like efficiency and removal should be considered like as equivalents depending on what your deck needs.
yeah.
Which is I think what you're
I
getting.
think it's always just like a little bit more complicated than just jam every removal spell ever.
Yeah, because I cut removal all the time.
I do too. Like I do too. On some sets and some decks for sure. Like it definitely like you don't need removal. Like I think that's kind of a common misconception. Like there are cases in every set ever where like there is a deck that does not need removal to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in every set ever.
Like one of my favorite decks I ever drafted was a Kaldheim deck, and my removal was Runamucks +3/+3 and trample because
like
it was so
pump spells,
fast
right?
that you just can't like deal with it. And like they were pump spells, they weren't actually removal, right? So
Yeah.
there's situations where you don't need it. I think in this format you kind of do need it more than some other ones.
But like there's still decks that don't need removal, right?
Yeah, I think
Like,
the go wide pump decks.
Go
are,
wide kind of, yeah.
yeah.
There's even versions of like Tolarian Terror decks that don't really have removal, like red blue.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
Like,
removal's a crutch.
yep, you don't always
not really, not really.
Oh
but
gosh,
crutch for sure. I agree.
removal's
Just
like
destroy
two
it.
aggressive sabotages. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, like
Just a
sometimes
crutch.
things are removal that like aren't actual removal. Like a good example is aggressive sabotage, right?
yeah,
That's kind of like you remove 2 cards from your opponent's hand, right?
yeah, they're two worst cards, right?
Sometimes that's removal in a way.
A well-timed bounce spell.
Yeah,
Bounce too. Like bounce should be on here too, but for like
bounce has like
would
high
be,
efficiency, low
it's being
power.
low
Right?
power,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. And
because
like,
like bounce spells like almost can negate a whole turn a lot of the times,
yeah.
which is
A
a
lot
lot.
of times it feels like a time walk.
Yeah,
Or like if you can ever like, and I also think something being instant bumps it way up on the efficiency, right?
For
Because you
sure.
can get more out of it for sure.
You get 2-for-1s because, like, especially with like Gaia's mites and the shield counter, take up the shield and stuff like that. Like,
Even like Tribute of Urborg, right? Like,
yeah.
there's like ways to time it that like maximize it.
Right. Yeah. Because
Way more.
and the bite spell, rapid bite,
Yeah,
like all
rapid
your
bite.
stuff being instants. People are starting to forget the power, like the drawbacks to buffs. I think it's gonna bite them a little bit in the next set,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
Yep. It's just a thought. Think about your removal.
Yeah, you
Think
don't need
about
all
it.
the removal. I agree.
Yep. And think about it before you take it. And think like while you're in a draft, it helps to like remember what creatures you have and whether you need more small removal or like more big removal. And like what are the holes in your deck that you need to patch with removal? Where do you need your crutches?
Yes.
You need leg crutches, you need a left leg crutch or a right leg crutch, or just think about it.
Andrew, do you ever cut removal?
Yeah, I've definitely cut removal before. I've cut some tributes to Urborg just looking at the deck. You didn't have enough sorceries or instants to really kick that thing. I cut the Jaya's Tornado or Tornado.
Yeah, that card's real bad.
I cut that
Like,
regularly. You know,
would you ever cut an Extinguish the Light? Ever?
I have.
I have too.
If I am like not at all like base black, probably I've cut one or two. I've cut one at least, I know, or I've just cut it out completely.
Extinguish the Light is probably like the removal spell in here that I probably cut the most.
Really?
Yep. Or Citizens of
Jaya's Tornadoes, definitely, and Citizens.
Yeah, I don't even take those.
And Bomb yeah. And Broken Wings and Artillery Blast.
Broken Wings. Yeah, like I'm talking about the cards I actually take, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not taking Broken Wings or Fire Nados literally ever.
True.
Yeah, but it's just a thought. Think about it.
Sounds good. What's your tip for the week, Andrew?
My tip
Just
are
a tip.
curve toppers in this set. I feel like this set it always seems to go to like a really late game kind of stage. There's the creatures are so efficient in this set. You know, something to bring up, I think we brought it up maybe last time, but there are no vanilla creatures in this set at all. Every creature has some sort of ability.
Yeah.
And that's kind of big because that means your removal is not as potent as it used to be if the cards are getting draw a card on them. Okay, well now you just spent one card to take out, one card, but they drew a card. Or they made a guy, like our Gervian Cavalier. Okay, I killed the Cavalier. Okay, now they have a 1/1. But, these curve toppers are kind of those cards that really just go over the top. They're the kind of cards you want to top deck. You don't want to have them in your opening hand. And when you top deck them in the late kind of game, they're sort of impactful in the game that they can just swing a game your way. And some of those that I see, like I put the kind of definition of a curve topper. A curve topper is a card that the mana base doesn't directly support in the sense of reliably casting that spell on time, which rings true. You have a 7-drop in your hand with 3 lands in your opening hand. You're like, I may get to this. And if I get to this, it's probably going to be really good. So you're not really casting it on curve, really. You can't curve out to like a 7-drop reliably. And so things like this, I put up Bortuk Bone Rattler. It's a 4/4 for 6 that lets you bring back a creature from your graveyard. That's just a pretty back-breaking card on 6. Just getting 2 creatures for that, or regrowing your best creature in your graveyard that you didn't have domain for. Shalai's Acolyte. It's a 3/4 with kicker for 2, 1 green and 1 colorless. It comes in with, it's a flying 3/4, but then you can kick it and it has another 2 counters on it. That's just an over-the-top creature that gets above like a lot of removal spells that are damage-based removal spells, like your 5 damage, your 3 damage. Even with the negatives, you have to work kind of hard with like Tribute to Urborg. It really takes a hard destroy this creature removal spell. And then something like a Mossbeard Ancient, it gets you back in the game by just gaining you 5 life and just being this pretty big game ender. And I just see a lot of games more often than not go to that. I'm flooding out and I need something just so big to impact the board to break a stalemate. And these are the kind of cards that do it. And I think this set really lends itself just because the creatures have gotten so efficient in 2-for-1ing and getting all this value out of there that you really need something to go over the top. And I'm not talking about jamming, like 6 copies of Acolyte into your deck, 6 copies of Mossbeard. You're talking 1 or 2 just to get that little bit of extra power that you need to probably close out a game.
Yep.
Does every deck in this format need a curve topper, or most decks? I mean, like 90% of decks.
I think 90% of decks could use something like that. And I'm not talking. You can see like some of those, like Tolarian Terror would be a curve topper. You're not reliably casting it on 1 or 2.
Phalanx.
The Phalanx is kind of one of those cards. The one that has Death Touch that's a 5/5. That's a pretty good curve topper. It's just so over the top that it's going to take at least more than one removal spell normally, or two creatures to just kind of get in the way of it. And it just kind of those things that can break a stalemate.
Yeah. Would you count heroic charge as a curve topper?
It could be, and I guess given the circumstances of like the definition of that, if you're in a really low to the ground aggro deck, like 1s and 2s and 3s, and like the last card in your deck with the curve is really that 4, then yeah, I guess it would be a curve topper in that kind of sense. You have to you're not going to cast that on time every time. You're really going to want to have that as your last blast. You really don't. I don't see very many times that you use that defensively or anything like that. If you're probably using defensively, you're probably losing the game. But it's definitely that last over the top card that really just gets you there. It's probably true. I mean, it could be a spell, it could be a creature. It doesn't have to. I mean, I put creatures as an example, but it really could be a spell too. Like what's a herd migration is a great curve top in this respect. I mean, it's just so impactful. Drawing it late, you see it in your opening hand. You're like, gosh. Hopefully I get to this, and then because everything's so efficient right now, you're gonna probably get to it, and it's probably gonna be really good when you cast it. And
how many curve toppers is too many curve toppers?
I think if you're getting to that 4 range, I think you've gone too far, especially if they're really kind of stretched. We're in the 7s and 8 casting cost creatures. I think some 5s are pretty good, but when you get above 6, you really probably only want to have 3, maybe 4 if they have some sort of way that they can lower their mana cost, or they're just so impactful like Bortuck, where you probably want 3 Bortucks if you can get there, because it's just so efficient at what it does.
Yeah, I think like once you get to like 4 or 5 curve toppers, I think you should try to adjust your strategy to be more of a ramp type deck. Right?
Yeah, like ramp is like a whole different thing, right? Like because like ramp, you kind of just like usually just want to cut 4 out of your curve completely and just have like you go from like 3 drops, which are like your ramping things, into just like 5 drops.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
That's a whole different style of deck. I mean,
where like you'll play like 8 to 9 curve toppers, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I've had decks like that for sure.
Bombs out there. I had a really good deck a couple of weeks back on a quick draft, and I had just nothing but ramp spells. I was casting Mossbeard Ancients turn 5, and it just they didn't have anything to deal with it. It's like, here it is. Okay. And then, follow it up with a Bortuck to bring it back. And it's just like, wow, this is insane.
What's the best creature to get back with Bortuck? I have an answer for this.
Marius Outrider.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like my favorite sequence in this entire set. As Marius Outrider, it gets Destroy Eviled, and then you next turn play a land Bortuck, dome him again for
Take
5.
10.
Like that's my favorite thing in the world.
And I think that's kind of when he fulfills that role, just being that over the top curve topper, where it's just you get that guy there, and it gets you so far ahead that it just keeps pushing that game even further, or breaks the stalemate when you can get back that Marius Outrider, just dome him for 5. I've won so many games like that where it's just, I don't know.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
What's better when you're behind, Bortuck, Bone Rattle, or Mossbeard Ancient?
Bortuck.
It depends on it's a game.
I think so. I'm on Team Bortuck.
It depends on the game state, really. Like if it depends on the game state. I really think it does. If they have nothing but creatures and you play Bortuck and you don't have enough to, just if they have a swarm, like a horde of creatures against you, it's probably not going to win you the game. But like a Mossbeard could stabilize the board right away as soon as it gets in there.
No way, bro. You still taking a bunch. And against a swarm, Bortuck's is better too, because you get to block 2 things instead of just 1.
Like if they have 3 creatures and you're playing a Bortuck and you're going to lose the next turn, it's not going to get you there. Like they have a 3/3, you have 3 3/3s, you're at 6, and you play Bortuck as your only creature, you're going to lose, right? You play Mossbeard stabilizes the board.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
There are situations where like Mossbeard is better, but
yeah.
I like Bortuck.
Yeah.
Good card.
I think it's good. I mean, I'm not cutting Bortux out. I first pick a Bortux because it's just so strong.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I did have a Shalize Acolyte in my deck, so I can't really talk shit on it.
Yeah, I was like, that's iffy for sure.
Yeah,
I've lost
I did that.
You have to answer it. When you got a 5/6 flyer staring you on the other side, it's pretty intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think it stabilizes the board quite the way those other ones do, though.
No, I think it was mainly just.
But like sometimes, like there's different reasons why you have curve toppers, right?
That's
like,
true.
And green, whenever it's like a slower color, you're playing curve toppers to extend the game because you want a longer game because you win longer games. Like in white or like any of the more aggressive colors, like you want a shorter game, so you want curve toppers that end the game sooner that aren't necessarily stabilizing. Yeah. They're applying more pressure.
Yeah. I think it's pretty fun when you have the Shalize Acolyte like in a go wide kind of strategy because you gum up the board so badly. Sometimes you just get in these stalemates where you're just looking at your opponent passing the turn, looking for that one card to just fly over. Or that
sometimes like the aggro decks turn into like, all right, sometimes my plan just needs to change from like, I've got 5/1/1s. I was going to pump them all to get in. That's not working anymore. Yeah. I'm going to play the Shalize Acolyte and chump block for 8 turns. Sometimes
I draw my air
like
and start putting counters on everything. Yeah.
It kind of happens, and it's just kind of fun to have something that just can break the board for you or break a game. And so that's kind of what the curve toppers I think kind of do. They just kind of help you break out of a stalemate or just help you get over that last bit of hump there. And I think in this set it's been very few games where I've been completely aggroed out where it didn't get down to like a board of just, okay, now we're kind of top decking, or now we're kind of getting into the late game where I'm flooding like with 13 lands in front of me and this game's still going on.
Yeah.
Ryan, what kind of tips do you have for us?
Oh God, this is the holy gospel. This is the tip of all tips. If you don't do anything else I ever say, you need to do this, okay? It's just going to win you more games, period. Don't play things on your first main phase unless they affect combat, ever. Don't do it. It's terrible. It's bad. If you tap out and then swing at me, your stuff's gonna die. It's just gonna die. I'm gonna block. You're gonna swing with a 5/5. I'm gonna block with a 2/4 and a 3/3, and you're gonna trade down, and you're gonna feel bad. You know why? Because you're tapped out, and I know there's not a thing you can do about it. Never, ever, ever play things on your first main phase unless it affects what you're trying to do. Not even a land. Don't even play a land unless you need the land to like buff.
Unless you have a reason
like,
to, right?
Yeah, because so turn 2, I have a 2/2, you have a 2/2. Your 2/2 is more high value than mine, let's say. You have a 2/2 Black Menace, and I have a 2/1 Goblin, okay? You have the Black Knight, I have the 2/1 that gives something -1/-1, whatever. I don't play a land, and I swing with my 2/1 Goblin because I'm fine trading up. That's a trade up for me, right? If I don't play a land, your thought process is a little bit different. You think, oh, is he land screwed? Like, you know what I mean? Like, do I need to block this? Is this all he can do? I don't know. If I clear this board, I can just proceed out and win. There's just so much things. And you also can think like, oh, I don't know if I can block this because he has 2 mana up. What if he has Take Up the Shield? What if he has Battle Raid's Blessing? What if he has this? What if he has that? There's just so much. It's just so much better to have untapped land when you swing and have your opponent have the least information possible when they make their decisions. The more information you give your opponent about what you're going to do this turn and what you're going to do this turn, what mana you have up, how many cards you have in your hand, if you're land screwed, if you're not land screwed, whatever. The more information you give your opponent, the worse off you are when you swing, right? Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah.
And I don't know. I've been told that I swing too much. But I don't think there's such a thing.
I've told him that.
You can always learn off your swing, and sometimes you have to think of your creatures as expendable, right? But just the first main phase is only for setting up your swing. That's it. That's all it's for. Then you swing, and then you do your second main phase.
Yeah.
If you need to play a land to support your swing, then you play a land to support your swing. If you need to play a creature to support your swing, sometimes that happens, right? Sometimes you're going to play a haste guy. Sometimes you're going to play a guy that buffs another guy. Sometimes you need bodies on the field for stuff or whatever. And you need a tapped land so a guy's might's bigger, But if it doesn't support your swing, do that. And also ask yourself if you have lethal. Because, people miss lethal a lot. But the big tip here is just do stuff on your second main phase unless it affects your swing. That's like the number one thing. Like I can get into the nitty gritty of like all the stuff you should do to swing, the art of the swing, you know. That's big. Like I think that's big. Like there's a lot to that.
But if you
It's like
just follow like the baseline of just do stuff during your shit, like during your second main.
Yeah, that's gonna help you a
a
lot.
lot.
Yeah, because people are just less able to block. Because like we're both people. I have a 2/2. You have a 4/4. I have 4 mana up. You have no mana up. I swing with my 2/2. How many times are you blocking that 4/4? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I see that you have a 4/4. I obviously see that you have a 4/4. I have a 2/2. How much is that 4/4 worth to you? And then I don't know. It's just. But if I play a 4/4, and then I can't swing with my 2/2 anymore. Also, be confident when you swing. When you get in the tank too much, it becomes obvious that you don't have it. I think more often than not. Like basically, skip your first. When you're gonna swing, just skip your first main phase and send them. And your opponent will be like, "Oh, damn." You know what I mean?
See, I just feel like I've ascended past this. And sometimes I play stuff on my main phase just to seem like a noob.
Yeah.
like this is like the baseline of where you gotta get, and then you can like kind of play with this a little bit. Like sometimes you can manipulate other people's expectations of you against them, kind of.
Right.
Like, but that's like advanced level nonsense.
Yeah, there's so many head
bullshit.
games in Magic.
That's for sure. Like this is the best way to just start out.
Like there's somebody that has called my bluff a time or two when I've swung and didn't have anything.
Yeah.
And now the next 5, 6, 7 times that he calls it, I'm gonna have it. Like I'm gonna have it. And then after that, he's not gonna call it anymore. That's how it's gonna work for the rest of our lives at F&M.
Yeah, because like one negative interaction with something will taint how you feel about it for the rest of your life. You will never change your mind or genuinely. That's just how people work, right? Like if you get got by Destroy Evil, you're gonna think it's the best card you've ever seen for a while.
Yeah, same like negate. Every time I get negated.
To me, it's the menace tricks. Like you have a 3/3 menace, and then you have the death touch, indestructible stuff. Or in other sets +2/+0 and bring it back. Like once you get blown out by that once, you're just like, oh my god, I can literally never do that again without a backup. Because like it just loses you the game. You just lose. Like if I have a 3/3 menace and you block with like a 2/2 and a 4/4, and I give mine death touch and indestructible, like you just lost probably. And then I also call bluffs a lot. Like I make them have it too. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
But it's kind of a feeling too. It's kind of a phase. But anyway, the main tip: play stuff on your second main phase. Because if you play on your first main phase, you're giving your opponents an edge. You're helping them. You're actively helping them, which you don't want to do.
All right, Ryan and Andrew, what are we picking in this pack one pick one this week?
Let's set it up. Okay, we got Fires of Victory. 1 mana and a red deals damage to something equal to the cards in your hand, and if you kick it, you can draw. Choking Miasma, -2/-2 to everything. You kick it, you put a 1/1 counter. Rona's Vortex, bounce something or kick it, put it on the bottom. We got Essence Scatter, counter target creature. We got Idyllic Beachfront, white-blue combo land. We got Maria's Outrider, 4/4 reach, domain that domes things. We got Ratadrabic. We got Ratadrabic, 3/3 vigilance for 4.
Yeah, we aren't taking
copies. We're not taking it. Is the picture sufficiently painted? Is that enough options?
Yeah, that's enough
options.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna guess. Okay, so I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna guess what Ryan's gonna pick first.
Oh, okay.
I think Ryan just takes I think he takes Rona's Vortex. And I think everyone's taking Rona's Vortex.
I think everyone in their right mind is taking Rona's Vortex.
Yeah, everybody's taking the Vortex.
Shut up. You're taking Vortex.
I'm not.
I'm not taking Vortex.
No, I'll take Fires of Victory before it.
Wrong.
You'll take Fires of Victory for Vortex?
Yeah, I think so. I think the upside's just higher.
No, it's definitely lower. What are you talking about? The upside's higher. What?
Drawing a card?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like if I ever draw a card,
but like if
Fires of Victory and kill something, it's better than Rona's Vortex,
for
right?
5?
That's better.
No.
That's better, right?
Rona's Vortex is just unconditional in all phases of the game.
For 4 mana.
Better. Yeah.
For 4 mana, right?
Fires cost 5. But if you top deck Fires with nothing in your hand, it's just terrible.
Yeah, it definitely feels bad on the top
There's
deck.
points in the game where Fires is terrible.
But there's also points in the game where Rona's Vortex is terrible too.
No,
right?
false.
Ooh, that's pretty tough.
No, like opening hand, you've got 3 lands, you don't draw a land, you miss your 4th land drop. What the hell is your Rona's Vortex doing?
Buying me time. Yeah.
Oh, so you're gonna play it to bounce something?
If I have to, absolutely. That's what part of the card does.
Or I could play Fires of Victory, kill something, stem the bleeding even more. Like it's still a 2-mana pretty good removal spell.
Yeah, Fire's the second pick for sure.
I don't know. I'd probably just start with Fires. I like Rona's Vortex a lot, but I like sometimes I just want to have a 2-mana kill something. Like if I get a brawler in on me and I'm just sitting there and I'm facing down a brawler, I don't have any creatures. Like having a Fires of Victory feels so much better than like waiting till turn 4 where I've already taken 10 damage off a brawler, a Neoshoba brawler, the one that gets +1/+1 for each land type you control.
Yep.
Like the Fires, I don't know. I kind of like it. It feels a little safer. I feel a little better just having it in my hand.
This is a pretty spicy pack.
Rona's, right? This is a spicy pack, but Rona's Vortex is just unconditional removal for 4, which like we already know is good, right? Obviously that's good.
Yeah, we know that's good, but like
it can buy you time at 1, which is less than 2. I don't know if you know this, but less than 2.
Yeah, but like it buys you time, but like it's sus. You can like kind of deal with like it basically says gain you 3 life, right?
I mean, like in your scenario, like Essence Scatter's better, right? Like
yeah, Essence Scatter's good. I'd probably it's tough between those 3. Those are my 3 like
I think all the uncommons get the nod for me before Essence Scatter or Beach.
So what are you hoping to wheel out of this pack? Like
ideally?
Yeah, like ideally like
Magical Christmas Land.
Well, what realistically, what are you wheeling? Let's say take Fires. What are you trying to wheel now?
I'm trying to wheel Beachfront.
Not happening.
Ooh, it's probably not going to happen.
Beachfront more realistically, is the 5th pick of this pack, right? Or 6th?
I think it's a 5th pick, 5th, 6th pick
of this pack.
Outrider.
That's probably 7th, 8th, 9th range. But I think that's 7th pick.
That's close. Sometimes they wheel though. They do wheel.
They can. I think it's a little bit. It's definitely the like once Fires is gone. If anyone is in
probably
red,
Warbrute.
Yeah, Warbrute wheels.
I think Warbrute would be a reasonable wheel.
That's a good thing to wheel.
I think.
Like, what else are you wheeling?
So like, let's realistically go down this pack. Like, we don't necessarily agree on the order, but like, we pick one of the uncommons: Rona's Vortex or Fires of Victory. The next person picks an uncommon or rare, right?
Yeah.
Like Ratadrabic or the other uncommon. The next person picks another uncommon or Essence Scatter, maybe.
Yeah.
The next person picks Essence Scatter or land, and then land, Outrider, Essence Scatter. Then that's the next pick, and then maybe Bone Splinters after that.
Or Wall, or the O2 Wall.
Or the Barricade, yeah. Bone Splinters and Barricade are the next pick. So that's your 8. So you're looking at Artillery Blast, Vine Wall, Sojourner, Battle Rage's Blessing, and Coalition Warbrute on the wheel, I think.
I think Vine Wall goes too highly. Like I've seen worlds where like Vine Wall goes before like an Essence Scatter.
I've seen that too.
Yeah. Like
it is the only green card in this pack, really.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said about taking that. Like, if you're really trying to go for some sort of signaling or something like that, just taking that Vine Wall out of
I don't think Pack One Pick One Vine Wall is not a good strat at all. This is a terrible strat. But like feeling brave, like be my guest. Like there's also a world where you just take Idyllic Beachfront, like on at least one day of the week. I would just take Idyllic
Pack One Pick One.
Yep.
Pack One Pick One?
Never. This pack. Never.
It's got to do something.
Never.
No. Sometimes, like one day a week, I will pick Idyllic Beachfront over every other card in this pack.
Oh man.
Like
I guess I'm just consistent because I'm taking Rona's Vortex no matter what day of the week it is.
No, Fires of Victory is good too, though. That card, if you ever draw that card, that's so good.
Yeah, it's fine.
Good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yep.
You know what feels real good?
Putting something on the
blowing out buffs. Getting rid of indestructible shit.
Yeah.
So much stuff with Rona's Vortex that's just like, oh yes.
Yeah, most of the time you just don't have to deal with that if you have Fires of Victory because it's already dead. Like, you know.
Yeah, so you draft Fires of Victory.
Potato.
I get it. I understand this now. Okay, so you draft Fires of Victory because you want to be a late game guy.
Yeah, that's what I mean, right? Like I want a big game.
Like you already know your 5-color domain
Yeah,
before you start this draft.
Pick one. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know for sure.
You're not
Right?
gonna let this draft lead you any sort of way.
Nope.
You can bring a horse to
No,
water, but you're not gonna make Robi drink.
no,
He's
I'm never
5-color
doing.
domain, and he needs something to deal with your 2-drop. And if he doesn't have it, then it's not good.
I'll die. Yep, you got
Okay,
it.
I get it.
All right,
But Rona's Vortex better, right?
like in a vacuum, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'll trust you because you are the alpha of the week this week, right? Right,
Yep.
Andrew?
Yeah, he is from Sigma to Alpha.
No,
What
I think I'm still Sigma of the week. I don't believe in Alpha. And this week, I have a very special message. And by a special message, I just mean this picture, which is exactly how I feel. That I don't even need any words to describe my feeling of being Alpha of the week this week, or whatever you guys want to call it. This is just how I feel looking at your guys' decks in this Unfinity draft. So I'll leave that up to the YouTube people to see the picture, but it should be in the description on Spotify. But yep, that's all I've got this week.
I want to say normally I'll be like, alpha asterisk 201, 21, whatever. But you
I
three out.
pretty
This
thoroughly
is a
bodied
legit
everyone.
alpha.
It's a legit Alpha move.
Yeah, this is legit, and I'm proud of you, Robi. You
The
did it.
construction hat for all those attractions you were building.
I was building a lot of contraptions this time. All right.
Not contraptions.
Well, that's all I got for this week, guys.
All right, we'll
Be
catch
sure
y'all
to
on
check out our Discord. Come hang out with us. We'll help you with your decks or whatever you guys want. But
for sure.
Yep.
Oh, and don't forget to ask us questions.
Yeah,
Leave
send
comments
us
and ask us
emails.
questions. We want to do Q&As.
Yeah, our email is rulespackmates@gmail.com. So if you guys just want to send us whatever,
or come to the Discord and put Q&As in the text channel.
Yeah.
And hang out. Like we're in here sometimes. Play Magic with us. It's fun.
Interact with us. We're here for you.
Yeah, we're not. We might be super popular celebrities, but like we'll still hang out with you. We're not better than
We're
that.
not above that.
Yeah.
We're not above that. We're for the people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you're thinking, wow, this guy really will play Magic with me. I doubt it, but no, I'll do it.
Yeah. I'll let Ryan do it. I'm just kidding. I'll play with whoever. But yeah, I'm Robi, and goodbye.
I'll catch y'all boys on the flippity flop.
Have a good week, everybody.